I'll take a few minutes, just a few, to give a brief history of the Pan-African flag and why we're flying it here today. The Pan-African flag was created in 1920 by Marcus Mosiah Garvey through the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Garvey created the UNIA to promote anti-colonialism and black nationalism. The flag was created specifically out of a response of a popular song at the time, "Every Race Has a Flag But the Coon." The creators intended for this flag to serve as a unifying symbol for black people throughout the diaspora, and they achieved that purpose. The colors of this Pan-African flag are significant and must be noted.
I wanted to share with you, I think many of you know my background in the Marine Corps, and I'll share with you in the Marine Corps, I've done many flag raising ceremonies. And what they teach you in the Marine Corps is that the symbolism of raising a flag is for people to take notice. Literally, it's when you raise the American flag, like in the Battle of Iwo Jima, it was a time where they wanted you to take notice of what was happening at that event. So this morning, we want you to take notice in our fight against racism. As you all know, there's been issues that's been happening at our schools, and it's not just one singular schools, it's all of our schools. It's happening. And people are contacting me, and people are contacting the board. And we all know the Richmond High School students, we stop, you stop in their fight. And I would just want to share with you our work that we're doing in the district. I had an opportunity to attend a conference, and we were really talking about and framing what does equity really mean and what does anti-racism mean as well. So I wanted to share with you what I received. That what do we mean by equity? It means every school and school system is intentionally built to ensure children of every race, ethnicity, language, or other characteristics of their identity have what they need to achieve academic, social, and emotional success. And anti-racism, it means dismantling policies, practices, and procedures that lead to racially inequitable outcomes and releasing the racist ideas that underlie, result from, and uphold these policies, and promoting and sustaining racial equity. So raising this flag this morning, we want you to take notice that we're fighting against racism. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to
Good morning, beautiful people.
Good morning.
I want to acknowledge our board president in his absence, to our distinguished board member who's with us here today, to our illustrious superintendent, Dr. Hurst, and to his amazing staff. My name is Billy Shoemake. I'm a scout, not cow, but scout, over at Neastham Elementary School. So I'm privileged and honored to have this opportunity just to share a few words about the purpose of our being here today. So we all know about the dream, right? This is Black History Month. We all know about the dream. But I recall reading a while back that Dr. King also had something to say about education. So I just wanted to just briefly share a few things that he wrote about as it relates to education. Back in 1947, he wrote an article called "The Purpose of Education," which he wrote for his paper at Morehouse College. In 1947, Dr. King wrote, "Education must enable one to sift and weigh evidence, to discern the truth from the false, the real from the unreal, and the facts from fiction." He also went on to write, "The function of education, therefore, is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. But education which stops with efficiency may prove the greatest menace to society. The most dangerous man may be the man gifted with reason, but with no morals." Now, moving on up to 1964, he referred to education as the battleground in the freedom struggle. When he accepted the John Dewey Award from the United Federations of Teachers in 1964, he spoke about education being that battleground. He went on to say, education is one of the vital tools the Negro needs in order to advance. And yet it has been denied him by devices of segregation and the manipulations with equity. He went on to write, the richest nation on earth has never allocated enough resources to build sufficient schools, to compensate adequately its teachers, and to surround them with the prestiges of their work. King added, we squander funds on highways, on the frenetic pursuit of recreation, on the overabundance of overkill armament, but we pauperize education. In closing with, he said, the richest nation on earth has never allocated enough funds to do that which must be done. This was in 1964. This is 2023. 59 years later, folks. 59 years later, we're still struggling with providing equity and quality education for African Americans. And I want to share this with you as I close. You know, Baptist preachers usually have about 2 or 3 closes. If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. It's time to do something different. And if I might add, the only way that we're going to do this right is if we get serious about this work. And real talk, for African Americans, it's about life or death. I'm gonna say that again. For African Americans, it's about life or death. Having been doing work in this city, there was a time when Richmond was designated the most dangerous city in the nation because of the number of homicides that was occurring. I would get the calls from the Richmond Police Department and go out to them homicide scenes and see these young black boys colored over that tarp. And I tell you, it's nothing like seeing that mother come out there after she done received that call, recognizing that that's her child. That's her child. And I can still hear the plaintive wails of them mothers to this day. I can still hear the plaintive wails of those mothers. This is not a joke for us, for our community. We have to get this right. Because if we don't get our kids turned on to education, they're gonna drop out onto them streets, they're gonna start hustling, they're gonna wind up at that beachfront property over there in Marin County. That was a joke, y'all. or they may be in a situation where I get called to do their eulogy. So I just want to encourage us to do all that we can. We can do better, and we must do better. And it's incumbent upon all of us to do all that we can where we are. Every little bit helps, folks. This is not rocket science. This is not rocket science, I tell you. So I want to thank you for this opportunity. I know we have a tremendous task, but let's just focus in the area where we are, within the sphere of influence that we have. Let us each make a difference where we are. That's all. Don't worry about all this up here, because you'll go crazy. It's overwhelming. But let's just do the best where we are. And if we do that and support our teachers, we will make a difference, because we want our kids to live. I'm gonna say it again. We want them to live. And the best way to make sure that happens is to make sure they get a good quality education. Amen? Amen. Thank you. Turn it back over to me.
As he lists for the first time in the history of West Contra Costa Unified School District, bear witness. Bear witness.
And I just want to, as I'm raising the flag, if we could just honor our Darius as well. He spent a lot of time putting this ceremony together. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
All right.